You are listening to the Afternoon Twist with your host, Psycho Backbus and Kayla. Enjoy the twist.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Afternoon Twist, the weekly entertainment programme that covers a wide range of topics and news stories from the UK, America and around the world. With tech, games and reviews, there is sure to be something of interest for you. Please feel free to interact with us as we value your input and reviews on any of the segments covered. And we are having a format change. Right. I'm going to explain the format of this week's and possibly, if it works, oncoming shows. I am going to post a picture of topics of news stories that we have got this week. And it is down to you, the viewer, the listener, to pick which story you want to hear. Okay, I will also read out the story topics, just in case you can't see the pictures. I'm posting the pic now. Right, so the topics this week, we have This Week in History, we have History, we have Mystery, we have Travel, we have Crime, we have Unsolved, we have Weird / Unusual, we have Medical, Crime, Sport, Money, Health, Environment, Entertainment, and You Wouldn't Believe It. Right, so for the first story, who wants to pick one?
Mystery.
He would do that, wouldn't he?
I would go with the Headless Nun.
I like money myself.
I like mysteries as well. Mystery sounds good.
Right, we're starting with a mystery. So, Kayla, please let us have the Headless Nun story. Over to you.
Okay, yes, my mystery story for you this week is about a headless nun. And during the mid-18th century struggle between the Acadians and British, a French fort was constructed at a cove located at a place known today as French Fort Cove. Acadians were transported to this location to help fend off the British. Among these Acadians was a nun known as Sister Marie. Sister Marie was born in France and requested of her superiors that she be sent to Canada to help the Acadians. Sister Marie was devoted to the care of the ill and despaired. Sister Marie was in care of a fund that was set up to assist the needs of the families. It is said that she buried the money for safekeeping. Late one night, while returning from assisting a very ill person, Sister Marie was attacked by an unknown person or persons demanding that she reveal the location of the buried money. Her unwillingness to cooperate with the attackers resulted in Sister Marie being beaten, which ended with her head being severed from her body. The head was never found, hence the headless nun. Sister Marie's body was returned to France, but her spirit remained, unable to rest until her head was buried with her body. Late-night visitors to this area have been approached by Sister Marie's spirit, asking them to help find her head. Others have said that she found her head and carries it in her arms, asking them to bury it with her body. So what would you all do if you've seen this headless nun?
Ooh, I go up and say, hey, do you fancy a drink tonight?
I'd be digging 6 feet down and going, here's your resting place.
That's some story, my God. Ah, geez, talk about a mystery. Headless nun. That's interesting.
And yeah, I posted a quick picture there, and yeah, it wouldn't be the first encounter.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Especially if you haven't got a head. Okay, so the next story. What would you like for your next story? You tell me.
Can we have a story of history?
A history story. Okay. Ooh, Kayla. One of your history stories, please. I'll have your finest history.
Tell him about that one guy, the really old guy that, he became the first president. You know what I mean?
Okay, my history story for you this week is about newly uncovered Greek city, maybe legendary home of the Trojan War prisoners. Archaeologists have uncovered portions of the ancient Greek city of Tiana, whose residents claim they were prisoners of the Trojan War. The uncovered parts of the city date back between 300 BC and AD 400. Buildings from the town and part of a cemetery containing the burials of 2 men, 5 women, and 2 children were uncovered. The burials contain a variety of grave goods, including jewelry made of bone, bronze and gold, as well as vases and coins. An iron ring bearing an image of the god Serapis, a deity revered in both Greece and Egypt, was also discovered in the cemetery. Scholars have known the general location of Tiana since at least the 19th century, but have done little scientific excavation at the site. The ancient Greek historian Thucydides wrote that residents of Tiana believed they were the descendants of Trojans who were taken prisoner during the Trojan War. That conflict happened more than 3,000 years ago. Pausanias claimed that the people of the city honored Apollo more than any other god. The recent excavations uncovered no remains dating back to 3,000 years. So, what do you think about that story?
Trojans. Well, when it comes to Trojans, no, I'm thinking of the Spartans because I watched 300 a few weeks back. Oh man, they do like a bit of war and blood and oh. So, anybody else got any views on the Trojans? Apart from they did like a horse or 2.
Well, I mean, the Trojans are known historically as, or they used to be one of the most elite brute force in their military. So, there's a lot of history that goes with the Trojans.
Yes, Rob. You like history, do you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's not my. Ironically, I'm not into the particular history of that part of the world or that era, so to speak. So, I'm weak at that. But it is a very good story to actually cover. I liked it. I really did.
Right. So, I'm itching to get a story out there. So, who wants to pick one of my stories?
Oh, Diamond Crime for sure.
Diamond Crime. Ah, right. This is, I've taken this from the Metro, and it's priceless diamond tiara stolen by thieves from historic estate. Police are hunting a gang of audacious burglars who broke into a historic estate before fleeing with priceless diamond tiara described as a national treasure. Officers were called after the thieves entered the Welbeck estate in Sherwood Forest, Worksop, Nottinghamshire, between 9:45 and 10 p.m. on Tuesday of this week. The offenders fled with the Portland tiara and a diamond brooch from an armoured glass display case whilst alarms sounded during the daring heist. The valuable heirloom is considered one of the greatest historic tiaras of Great Britain after the Duke of Portland commissioned jewellers Cartier to make it in 1902. Launched an investigation and are appealing for information about the silver Audi S5 believed to have been involved in the offence. Detective Inspector Neil Humphreys said, "We're pursuing a number of lines of inquiry, but we believe there are people out there who may have crucial information that could help with our investigation. We particularly want to hear from anyone information about this vehicle or the offence itself. We urge you to please come forward and contact us as soon as possible. We'd also like to hear from any drivers who have dashcam footage." Since its creation, by Cartier in 1902, using diamonds from the historic collections of the Dukes of Portland, it has been recognised as a jewel of supreme importance. A superb design, magnificently executed. The 6th Duke of Portland commissioned Cartier to create the Portland tiara for his wife Winifred, Duchess of Portland. She wore it to the 1902 coronation of King Edward VII. The centerpiece of the tiara is the Portland diamond, which dates from the 19th century. It is flanked by 2 diamond drops and other pendant diamonds, all set in gold and silver. The burglars also stole a diamond brooch, which was in the same glass display case, based at the site's Portland Collection Gallery. The brooch is composed of diamond clusters that previously stood at the apex of the tiara. These gems can be seen on the tiara in the painting of Duchess Winifred at the anointing of King Edward VII's wife, Queen Alexandria. Anyone with information is asked to call police on 101, quoting incident number 856. Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. So, a jewellery heist. Diamonds. I wonder if that tiara is still in one piece. pharmaceutical assistant in a shooting rampage at a US hospital. Juan Lopez repeatedly shot former partner Dr. Tamara O'Neill, 38, in the car park of Chicago's Mercy Hospital after demanding she return the engagement ring he had bought her. They were due to wed last month, but she called it off. He then went inside the hospital, where he shot 25-year-old pharmacy assistant Dana Les as she exited the lift. He also killed policeman Samuel Jimenez, 28, a married dad of 3. Lopez, 32, also died in the attack. It is not clear if he took his own life or was killed by police. Witness said the attack began when he confronted A&E doctor Miss O'Neill as she arrived at work. When her friend intervened, he lifted up his shirt to display a handgun, then shot Dr. O'Neill, said Superintendent.
What happened?
It looks so I got cut off. Well, how far did I get into the story? Dr. O'Neill said, lifted up his shirt to display a handgun, then shot Dr. O'Neill, said Superintendent Eddie Johnson, and that's the end of the story.
Oh man, that was brutal, man. You know, how do people actually do that is beyond me, really. I mean, forget about taking someone else's life, which is, that itself is brutal. I mean, how do you actually have the guts to plan this out, go get a gun and, you know, get blinded by your hatred? It's just amazing me. I'm amazed by that.
And all over an engagement ring. Oh, well, I'm not sure whether he would have made a very suitable husband, really.
Right, exactly. I mean, you know, it's just I don't know. Really, people that do that, I honestly don't know how they think. I really don't get it. You know, it's like the more you tell people, like, take the high road, be the nicer guy. You know what? If it was a mistake that happened between you two, just move on with your life. Some people just don't know how to move on, and they take it to the other level, the next level, and that's just way, way too crazy. I just never understood how people go to that spot in their mind and they actually execute that. I mean, in the moment of anger, I get it, right? That same moment, he's right there. He had the gun on him. He got crazy. Okay, fine. He got blinded by his anger or whatever. But this took time, I mean, the guy went and got a gun and traveled a long time. There was no thought process throughout that whole gap of time. And it just amazes me.
Also, I'd like to know how he made it into the hospital with the gun, because most hospitals have like a metal detector kind of thing at the entrance to the hospital. And usually security guards or cops that are standing there kind of keeping an eye on people. I know he had it under his shirt, but it seemed like it would have registered or something,
Well, that probably explains why the policeman was shot. Maybe it was the policeman that was at the entrance.
That's true. Too bad they don't have a backup, that's like a little further in the hospital so that he can't get any further.
Insane, really insane. People are going crazier by every day. You constantly hear about a shooting here or there, or it's really getting crazy. It really is. People are becoming more crazy.
And is it my imagination, or do you hear more about it here in the United States? I don't really hear of it happening as much in other countries as I do right here in the United States.
It's all so quiet.
Well, and then you got laws that protect people who carry guns. And a gun is very easy to get your hands on. So here in the U.S., at least anyway, legally to obtain. Not necessarily illegally, and that's another story. We're not going to get into that argument, is what I'm saying. But the point here is that it's easy to get a gun in the United States, whereas other countries, it's extremely hard.
And hello, Superman Bathgate. Welcome to the Afternoon Twist. If you'd like to join us, please have a look at the list of topics, pick a story, anything of interest to you.
I got a button. Hey, everybody. Just want to say, hey. That's it.
That's been on every Sunday for the last month. You've joined us almost 30 minutes into the show. Kayla, how about we have...
Okay, sounds good to me. And yes, I just want to thank everybody for coming into the show. And military enlistment without permission or known as being AWOL or absent without official leave. Private Justin didn't seem like a plausible candidate for stepping out on his responsibilities. He had worked hard and aspired to become an Army Ranger, which required specialized and intensive training at Fort Ord in California. He seemed committed to a career in the military, and then he began actually acting oddly around his girlfriend. While visiting her, he would abruptly tell her he had to leave in order to meet unnamed parties. When she pressed for details, he told her it was a secret, hinting only that it might involve arms smuggling. She noticed he carried a briefcase full of shredded paper. Once she answered the phone and was told to deliver Burwinkle a message, the mission was being called off. After 3 years in service, he simply vanished. His car was recovered at a motel 3 months after his disappearance, with all of his belongings inside. So were his military-issued dog tags, which he once told his girlfriend were useful in identifying the bodies of dead soldiers. Some believe he suffered from a mental illness. Others think he was involved in illicit activity that might have gotten him killed. No one has seen or heard from him since June 12, 1993. So, what do y'all think happened to him?
Right, so what are your views on deserting? Well, in some places it's called cowardice, and you can be shot for it, I do believe.
Oh yeah, of course. If you don't get court-martialed, definitely you would. Some would even consider it treason. Let's do a story about some tech. I like technology. Is there anything in the tech world today?
Oh, Rob, you've really put me on the spot. Tech. Oh, now you've really gone and done it, because I didn't have tech in the list. But I can possibly find a tech story. It is, if it's still around, About Tetris. Okay. I'll do the Tetris story some other time. And right, so I wonder if Giggles is listening, because I've got a story that is from her area. Ooh. Yes, it's just been brought to my attention. TikTok. Everybody likes a little bit of TikTok, you know. Quick videos. Post them to your friends. Chinese have embedded them with malware. Yes, not a wise move. I do believe it was Apple software that actually picked it up, flagged it. So I can I refer you to Computer Check. Computer Check. Do you know anything about this TikTok malware thing?
Yes, this has been going on for a few months now, and recently, just this week, it was posted how to remove the malware or to get by without the adware on your apps, and I'll post it in here in the chat. That it was taking your name and your email information, and this is why, you know, some of you who are saying that you're getting pop-ups or ads, this is a possible reason why.
Yeah, that would explain why I haven't been receiving them, because I haven't been on TikTok. And so, brewery damage, 20 grand or the place is ours. The story is by Daniel Binns. 100 travellers blackmailed brewery and then caused £300,000 worth of damage. A 100-strong group of travellers who illegally occupied a brewery refused to leave until they were paid £20,000, a jury has heard. Even after they agreed a deal, the travellers decided that the brewery's boss would not comply and caused £300,000 worth of damage. A security guard raised the alarm at Thwaites Brewery in Blackburn, Lancashire on May 27th when he discovered a convoy of more than 25...
Hello guys, how are you? My name is Victor.
Hello to the channel. Welcome to the Afternoon Twist, the weekly afternoon show from CB Radio Drama Free, ROC Productions, part of the Zello Radio Network. Right. When he discovered a convoy of more than 25 vehicles, including 17 caravans, had been driven into the brewery the previous evening after the locks on the gate had been cut. Traveller Thomas Ward, 43, who listed his address as Aspel Common, Lee, in Greater Manchester, demanded the money to leave within an hour. Preston Crown Court heard. Ward admitted blackmail, conspiracy to burgle Thwaites and conspiracy to commit criminal damage. John Ward, 33, also of Aspel Common, and a 17-year-old male who cannot be named for legal reasons, also admitted conspiracy. Patrick Ward, 32, denies conspiracy and is on trial in his absence. The court heard a group spokesman identified as Big John agreed after a handshake with contractor Greg Hartley that they would leave at noon on May 28th for £20,000 as long as no damage was done. He warned him 20 grand or the place is ours. Thwaites' chief executive, Richard Bailey, negotiated with the travellers to remove valuables, artwork and memorabilia worth £2 million. But at 4:30 on May 27, a number of men were seen on CCTV trespassing in the office building where the damage was done. Staff and police got into the brewery on May 28th and found offices had been ransacked. The travellers left that day. Patrick Ward denies being seen on CCTV stealing items, although he admits being in the area on May 27th. His trial continues. Thomas and John Ward will be sentenced on Thursday. The youth was bailed until December the 4th. So, even though they agreed a money settlement, they still went ahead and caused £300,000 worth of damage. Utter recklessness.
My word, that is a crazy story. Crazy, crazy story.
And yes, the story caught my attention because it's in Giggles' area. And I was hoping that she'd be on channel. Maybe she knew about it as well. But maybe she doesn't drink at Thwaites. Okay, so right. How about we do some quiz questions?
All right, sounds good to me. And these ones are going to be a little harder this week. It's not multiple choice, but if you know the answer, you can either key up and say the answer or give the answer in the text box. The first question is, what is the best type of grain used in brewing beer?
Barley.
All right, good job. Yes, it is barley. All right, question number 2. What species of fish are also known as kippers?
Ooh, can we get a hint?
Herring?
Oh, wow. Good job. Yes, it is herring. All right, question number 3. Name the French region famed for making claret.
Making what?
Claret, C-L-A-R-E-T.
Claret. Yes, French city known for making claret. Or French region, was it city or region?
Would that be happen to be Paris?
Right, the eclair. Okay, like the eclair. Okay, yeah, that would be Paris. Of course, it's the region.
It is not Paris. I'm not sure if the city is near Paris, but it is not Paris, and it is the French region.
Toulouse?
Toulouse-Lautrec. You need a map.
Okay, the answer is Bordeaux. I'll spell it. I'm sure I never pronounced it correctly. It is spelled Bordeaux. Does anybody know if that is in the Paris region? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's Bordeaux. Yeah, that is, yeah. Bordeaux, yeah.
Yes. And without the attempt at a French accent, Bordeaux.
All right, question number 4. How many British monarchs have there been since 1900?
I would say 12.
Come on, this is for all the English people out here. Come on, where's the English crew?
I'm gonna guess 3.
Well, thank you for joining us. Blockhead is Sean? Is who? Thank you for joining us and participating. Welcome to the channel.
Okay, and the answer is 6. There was 6 British monarchs since 1900. All right, question number 5. The Scottish Grand National is held at which race course?
Now, it's the Scottish Grand National, not the Grand National, so it's definitely not Aintree.
Yes, does anybody want to take a guess? The Scottish Grand National is held at which race course?
Oh, what a shame that John, not John. Oh, yeah. It's what a shame that the English contingent isn't out here. Edinburgh.
The answer is Ayr, A-Y-R. Not sure how to pronounce that. Alright, but question number 6. Made from soya, TVP is an acronym for what?
That would be TVP. It's vegetable protein, tofu vegetable protein, or something like that.
So close, Wolf. You just need to change that first word.
Yeah, I'll just let you know it's AYR. It's Ayr in Scotland. It's for the Scottish Grand National. It's in Ayr.
Yes. Well, you could have done with answering the question. But yeah, pronounced Ayr. Yeah. But you said it so much better than I did. So, TVP is vegetable protein, but what's the first part of the acronym?
Textured vegetable protein.
Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes, hello there, we hear you loud and clear, and yes. Can't think of it. Mine went blank. Yes, it is textured vegetable protein. Alright. Question number 7. What is scampi made from?
Shrimp.
Boom, shrimp. Rob was in there. And, wow. Straight in with the answer.
Yeah, OG Criminal, what's up with prohibiting Granny 420 from talking?
Alright, yes. Alright, question number 8. In place of milk, what is added to Russian tea?
I'm tempted to say vodka. But then again, vodka, maybe that replaces the water in the Russian tea. Ooh. Anybody else know? And Eagle Mama, please tell me you did not Google that last answer.
Hello, testing. This is Devon, UK, Southwest, calling.
Yes, Devon, in the UK. You're calling. We hear you loud and clear. You're on the show, ongoing show at this moment. If you want to participate, please wait for the questions. Thank you.
I'll have to say something simple like just sugar. Milk and sugar.
Alright, the answer is a slice of lemon. Yes, in place of milk, a slice of lemon is added to Russian tea. Alright, question number 9. Name the poet whose love was like a red, red rose.
Rosebud. Who wrote Rosebud? Damn.
No, I don't think it was Dan. Wasn't Wordsworth, was it?
Okay, the answer is Robert or Robbie Burns. Alright, and last but not least, this one is an easy one. Question number 10. What type of music is Kentucky known for?
Bluegrass.
Yes, very good. That was an easy one. I know these were kind of tough. I'm going to have to...
Yes, I think if some more people from the UK were on, we might have had a few more of them answers. Yes. So, Kayla. Yes, them questions were a little bit more difficult this week. And, well, maybe next week we can bring back a few of the multiple choice questions. Right. Who likes sport? Who likes sport with regards to cricket, let's say? Or was cricket mainly enjoyed by the English, the Indians, and, of course, New Zealand?
Yes, it's a sport with a hard ball, and you just gotta watch it or get hit on the head by the hard ball.
Right. Bairstow desperately proud of England's century after difficult year. Stories by Rory Dollard. Johnny Bairstow disclosed the difficulties which preceded his comeback century against Sri Lanka, revealing hours of rehabilitation, bad news from home, and criticism all fed his emotional celebrations. Bairstow has only been out of the Test team for 2 matches, a football-related ankle injury sidelining him in Galley and the selectors' reluctance to change a winning team keeping him out in Kandy. Yet the highly charged reaction to his 6th hundred hinted at a deeper story. Eyes bulging, bat and helmet discarded, and the guttural holler of yes seemingly combining to express pride, relief, and a hint of righteous indignation. His 110 is fiercely humid conditions at Colombo's Sanhalis Sports Club was a remarkable effort, particularly against a backdrop of his unexpected move to the problem position of number 3 and a loss of his cherished wicket-keeping duties to Ben Foakes. Speaking after England closed on 312 for 7, the 29-year-old appeared to still be battling with a number of rival feelings, both personal and professional. You can take it out how you want to see it, he said of his celebrations. I'd like to hope I've come through most challenges along the way, and I'm desperately proud. You've got to sometimes take everything on the exterior, what people write, what people say, people's opinions, and park that. Sometimes you use it as a motivator, but also in the internal drive of what you're doing it for and who you're doing it to. That goes a long way. That's the bit that matters the most out there. The days where things aren't going well for your mates back home that make sure everything's okay. It's the hard work you put in behind the scenes that no one else sees. The sleeping on ice machines. The rehab you put in. It would have been quite easy to say, I'm not fit. You could quite easily take your bat home for whatever's gone on, but putting things in perspective on what you over the last couple of weeks has been massive. You got to deliver when you're asked, and to get left out of the side when you've not done too much wrong over the last couple of years, then all of a sudden you're asked to bat where you've not batted before, so you're learning on the job.
Can anybody hear this? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yes, he can be heard, and welcome to the Afternoon Twist here on CB Radio Drama Free.
Hello, whereabouts is your 20, Baker?
And please don't key up until the show is over.
Alright, next we have This Week in History. Alright, in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln dedicated a national cemetery at the site of the Civil War battlefield of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. In 1969, Apollo 12 astronauts Charles Conrad and Alan Bean made the second manned landing on the moon. In 1906, in San Juan, President Theodore Roosevelt pledges citizenship for Puerto Rican people. In 1970, U.S. planes conduct widespread bombing raids in North Vietnam. In 1985, U.S. Navy intelligence analyst Jonathan Pollard arrested for spying and passing classified information to Israel. He received a life sentence on November 1st, 1987. In 1919, A labor conference committee in the U.S. urges an 8-hour workday and a 48-hour work week. In 1936, 1,200 soldiers are killed in a battle between the Japanese and the Mongolians in China. Next we have that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinates President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, and then Lyndon B. Johnson becomes president. In 1973, Great Britain announces a plan for moderate Protestants and Catholics to share power in Northern Ireland. And in 1909, the Wright brothers form a $1 million corporation for the commercial manufacture of their airplanes.
Wow, that is one busy week in history, isn't it?
Yes, definitely a busy week in history. Right. My next story is about a German teen loses driving license just 49 minutes after passing driving test. Yes. A German teenager with a need for speed found out the hard way that racing should be left to the pros less than an hour after getting his license. The teen was caught speeding in a town of Hema, just 49 minutes after he returned from his driving test, the BBC reported. Police officers clocked him using a laser speed gun and caught him driving nearly twice the speed limit at 95 kilometers an hour, not 60 miles per hour, in a 50k 30 mile an hour zone. Some things last forever, others not for an hour, German police reportedly wrote in their statement. After pulling over his car, officers found the teenager together with 4 of his friends who decided to have a drive together as a way to celebrate his passing the driving test. The teen is now facing a strict punishment and will have to wait some time until he can drive again. He has been formally banned from driving for at least 4 weeks, but the authorities said that they will only give back the license after expensive retraining. The 18-year-old will also have to pay $227, €200 fine. Police said they are likely to extend his probationary period for 2 to 4 years. Wow. Okay. Maybe he should have taken his car and gone on the Autobahn. He wouldn't have been done for speeding then, would he? Kayla. So, I do believe, if I said, squirrel! What would you say?
Well, I would say that I have a story for you about a squirrel. Yes. A man died from extremely rare disease after eating squirrel brains. And I got this story from livescience.com as well. And it goes, a man in New York developed an extremely rare and fatal brain disorder after he ate squirrel brains. In 2015, the 61-year-old man was brought to a hospital in Rochester, New York after experiencing a decline in his thinking abilities and losing touch with reality. The man had also lost the ability to walk on his own. An MRI of the man's head revealed a striking finding. The brain scan looked similar to those seen in people with CJD, a fatal brain condition caused by infectious proteins called prions. Only a few hundred cases of CJD have ever been reported, and most were tied to consumption of contaminated beef in the United Kingdom in the 1980s and 1990s. But in this case, the man had another dietary habit that could have raised the risk for CJD. His family said he liked to hunt, and it was reported that he had eaten squirrel brains, said Dr. Tara Chan, a medical resident at Rochester Regional Health and lead author of the report. It's unclear if the man consumed the entire squirrel brain or just squirrel meat that was contaminated with parts of squirrel brain. And for those of you who don't know, CJD is a progressive neurological disorder that affects only about 1 in a million people each year worldwide. According to the National Institutes of Health, it's a debilitating disease that progresses quickly and usually results in death within 1 year of diagnosis. There is no treatment or cure. The disease results from prion proteins that fold abnormally, leading to lesions of the brain. So, has anybody ever eaten squirrel brains, or would any of you eat it?
I don't know. Squirrels can be rabbit too, so I'm not gonna consider that my next plate.
I do know someone that's pregnant with squirrels.
If it's seasoned right, yeah, why not? People eat cow brains.
No, no brains at all. I don't care what it is. No brains.
I don't know. I'm not against the idea of brains. I mean, it is food after all. A lot of cultures, in fact, here, even in the U.S., in the older culture of ours, you don't waste anything from the animal, literally anything. Even the hooves had some sort of value. You could make something of them. In fact, that's really what Zello is made out of. So brains is not a gross food for me. It's the fact that, this is like a wild animal, and it could be rabbit. And it's hard to show on these little tiny critters, so I don't know. I wouldn't eat that.
I don't know. Brains, testicles, bit of garlic, bit of butter. Yeah, who knows?
It's not for me. I will never eat it.
I don't know. It doesn't sound appetizing to me. I don't think that I would even want to try it. But you know what? I can't, knock anybody else for wanting to try it, though.
But what would happen if you ate it and then was told what it was afterwards? Would you instantly throw up?
No, I probably wouldn't unless it really didn't taste good to begin with. Because I had done that accidentally. I bought a taco from a taco truck when I lived in California, and it was made with, like a burrito thing. It was made with cow tongue, and I didn't know it, but it tasted weird to me. I thought, this can't be beef. It just can't be beef. It has a weird texture. And then I found out what it was. It was cow tongue, and it was weird. It wasn't bad. It was just really, really weird.
You've had the lingua. Yeah, that's my favorite, believe it or not.
It's a little chewy and kind of a weird texture. I don't know how to describe the texture. It's just really weird.
Right. Entertainment news. I do believe somebody over here had tickets to see Mumford and Sons. Well, why Mumford axed tour dates? Mumford and Sons claim unforeseen logistical and technical challenges are to blame for the band being forced to postpone upcoming gigs in Liverpool, Cardiff, Sheffield and Manchester. So, unforeseen logistical. Does that mean that they couldn't get their stuff transported to the venues? Oh dear. But on the bright side, they're only postponed. They're not cancelled.
Yeah, usually on the logistical end of things, it could be maybe some of their equipment also failed to function. Amplifiers, that sort of thing. Last minute ditch efforts were not savvy enough or satisfying. That's the thing with moving big bands like that. Usually, when you're famous, they don't travel light. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay. I've got an environmental story. A whale dies with a belly full of plastic, including 115 cups, 4 bottles, 25 bags, and 2 flip-flops. Stories by Joel Taylor. This dead whale washed ashore with 13 pounds of plastics in its stomach, including 115 cups and 2 flip-flops. In all, there was more than 1,000 plastic items were found in the rotting carcass of the 31-foot sperm whale. Among them were 4 bottles, 25 bags, and a nylon sack. Rescuers recovered it near Kapota Island in the southeast Sulawesi province of Indonesia. The area, part of the marine Wakatobi National Park, is renowned for its unspoilt beauty. Although we have not been able to deduce the cause of death, the facts that we see are truly awful, said Dr. Saprati, a marine species conservation coordinator with Wildlife Campaign Group WWF Indonesia. I'm so sad to hear that this, said Luat Binzar, a Minister of Maritime Affairs. It is possible that many other marine animals are also contaminated with plastic waste, and this is very dangerous for our lives. The vast country, with 260 million people spread over thousands of islands, is the world's second largest plastic polluter after China, according to a recent study in journal Science. It produced 3.2 million tons of plastic waste a year, of which 1.2 million tons end up in the ocean. Mr. Panjatian said the whale's discovery should raise public awareness about the need to reduce plastic use, and had spurred the government to take tougher measures to protect the ocean, with the aim of reducing plastic use by 70% by 2025. This big ambition can be achieved if people learn to understand that plastic waste is common enemy, he said. So, the scourge of plastic. Plastic is not really biodegradable. Admittedly, it was seen as a wonder product when it was first came out, but there are so many different alternatives that can be used now. What are your views on plastic? Do we need it? Is it necessary?
Well, it does have its pros and cons. Really, it does. Plastics makes things easier to ship, and shipping is all about weight. So the weight distribution and the heaviness of it, plastic is a very good eliminator of that. And a good preserver too, believe it or not. You can also use it to preserve things. So, and that's the benefits of plastic. However, the human race has been very reckless with it as well. Plastic bags, for example. We really should abandon the idea of plastic bags, or either, have a very better system into, discarding it in a ordinary fashion where it's eco-friendly. Plastic bags specifically are the worst, I think, in my opinion. Whereas the rest can be recyclable, of course. But of course, the recycling process is not 100% pure, so you'll always have that 10% gap that would escape you from a recycler and make its way into the oceans, and that's where the eco problem becomes.
And Rob, okay, so you like history. What are your feelings on cave art? You know, a little bit of, ooh, I'll decorate my cave, make it all beautiful. That picture of that buffalo, that bison, ooh, buffalo, buffalo. Yes, what are your feelings about cave art? And I do believe Kayla has got a story. But Rob, what are your feelings on it?
Cave art. Believe it or not, cave art is not just art, although it is for the person who lived in that cave at the time. Cave art, in my humble opinion, is also a testament of the human race. It's a lead to our history. I mean, you know, when you see a hand stamped on that wall, or you know, on that rock, those are our ancestors. You know, it's amazing how they even started mimicking, you know, drawings, of course, of other animals and stuff. So it's not just art, but it also has a historical value of it, you know, and it shows you the resiliency of the human race, that they not only occupied caves, but also they made them their home.
Yes. Yeah. The question is, you know, some of them are really, really crude cave drawings. I suppose you can date the cave drawing age by how crude it is, but some of them can be really, really technical and well drawn. And all this is leading to the cave art story from Kayla. If you'd like to go ahead with that story, please. Kayla? Have we lost the connection? The connection to Kayla?
I think she's having technical difficulties. Yeah. See, I don't know. I honestly think there was a theory about cave art for years. In fact, just recent years. I would say in the past 30, 40 years, and that's recent, technically, with historians, is that cave art that served other purposes than just art, but also gave almost like a map for people who are, do you know what I mean? Like almost, okay, there's this tribe that moves from one cave to another, and they communicated by drawing, like, you know, this nearby this cave, you can see horses and bisons and buffaloes and whatnot. It wasn't just also art, but also it served a purpose. And that's a new theory in the world of cave art. So I'm very interested in that.
So, would it have been used to mark, say, very fertile hunting grounds? You know, oh, there's this herd of bison, and that was what was available. And maybe in a different cave there'd be different animals that were available to be hunted.
Right, and that's exactly what the theory really tells. The theory has it is that it's to tell people who ever visit that cave, if they were to be abandoning the cave, is that there is these following animals in the close vicinity, well, in the close proximity to that particular cave. So, it really, drawing is technically the very first form of communication. We all know the Sumerians, the Egyptians, they all heavily depended on their language, basically, even was a little bit of drawings, if you will, like hieroglyphs, for example. You had a bird, and the bird really meant a bird, and I'm not talking about the most common one. I'm talking about the even early stages of hieroglyphs. So drawings, or if you want to call it art, was and is the very, very first way of communication for the human race.
Yes, and I can remember watching a video, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was about cave people, and yes, there was a little bit of sex and nudity in it, but there was also wolves and other things as well. So we seem to have lost Kayla. So I do have a very short story about a world record attempt from a gymnast. And it also has a YouTube video that is available to watch. An incredible video, shows a high-flying gymnast propel himself almost 20 feet through the air and claim a new Guinness World Record. Daredevil Ashley Watson launched his body between two sets of horizontal bars, standing 19 feet 3 inches apart, the same length as 3 double beds back to back. The 26-year-old can be seen swinging his body around one of the bars 3 times to gather incredible momentum. He then lets go and completes a backflip in the air before grasping hold of the other horizontal bar. Ashley then raises his arm and exclaims, "Come on, that was so clean," and has since posted a picture proudly posing with his world record-breaking certificate. Ashley, who has been in the Great Britain gymnastics squad since the age of 15, succeeded on his 8th attempt. He was previously competed at British and European Championships on the parallel and high bars. He has now been awarded the Guinness World Record for the longest backflip between 2 horizontal bars. The record was claimed at Leeds Gymnastics Club with 2 independent witnesses and a chartered surveyor measuring the distance in attendance. Ashley from Leeds said, I was just messing about in training and saw the 2 bars, so I thought I'd go for it. At the start they were only 3 meters apart, and that was pretty easy, so I thought I'd stretch myself a bit. I went for it at about 6 meters and managed to nail it. I was ecstatic. My friends watching couldn't believe it. Some of them didn't think I'd be able to. It's a nice feeling to be world record holder for something. So, 20 feet, leaping from one bar and catching on another bar on the 8th attempt. So the other 7 attempts he must have landed flat on his face, maybe. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Oh yeah, that is quite a story too. That's insane. Insane, quite literally. Wow, the man really stretched himself. Talk about it, taking a leap of faith.
Yeah. I often wonder how they come up with these ideas to for world records. It's like, do they read through the book, see what's previously been done, and then see if they can beat it by just a little bit? Or do you go for that big increase? And if you were to go for a world record, Rob, what would you go for? Would it be maybe world's most amazing magician? World's most gorgeous ass standing next to a Christmas tree?
Yeah, I guess that look, it's the heart of the athlete, and that's what the heart of the athlete is all about. It's the sense of competition and bigger accomplishments. I, for one, I don't have that. I don't have that warrior athlete mentality. If I was to be known about something, I want to be known as the longest guy who sat on a couch almost ever, or watch TV on consecutive hours. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being that guy. Oh yeah, he's the laziest man on earth. Yeah, sure, yeah, I am.
Please all on Twitch go to Digits TV. He was supporting the stream. Well, thank you to Digits TV. And a shout out to everybody on Twitch that follows the Rebel Outlaw crew. Support the small gamers. And my quote for this week, I think I can personally relate to this, and maybe it will relate to other people out there. Okay, the quote is, when someone tells me no, it doesn't mean I can't do it. It simply means I can't do it with them.
Oh, well, are we talking on a sexual quote? That sounds a bit sexual, no? It's as if saying, when someone says, no, I'm not having sex with you, it means move on to find somebody that says, yes, I will have sex with you.
You take it how you want, Rob. If you can't find the person that wants to help you be a better person, you got to move on and find somebody that will.
Yeah, well, I don't think having sex with me would make me a better person. But no, I'm kidding.
And that quote is from, oh my word, I picked some strange names. Karen E. Quinones Miller. Give the proper respect to the person that wrote it. And, well, coming towards the end of the show, I have the CD releases. Right, there's some really good ones coming up. For the more older generation, the Carpenters with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, released on the 7th of December. We also have The Story So Far, the best of Def Leppard. That's released the 30th, so that's not that far away. We also have Bittersweet, Brian Ferry and his orchestra, released 30th of November. Springsteen on Broadway, released 14th of December. What is Love? Clean Bandit, 30th of November. live in Buenos Aires. Live in Sao Paulo, A Head Full of Dreams, Coldplay. Now that's not released until the 7th of December. Glastonbury 2000, David Bowie. One for Blue Diamond. Presents the best of Baby Shark. Released the 30th of November. So there's a Baby Shark CD being released. 50th anniversary collection of Neil Diamond. Wow, that's expensive. Released 30th of November, costing nearly £45. And One Night Only, live at Royal Albert Hall by Gregory Porter. Released 30th of November. And the last one is Songs for Judy by Neil Young. Released 30th of November. And that brings us to the end of the CD releases. And so, with the closing statements coming up, I'd like to thank everybody who participated and joined in with this week's show. Thank you very much to Rob the Brain, Computer Chick, the whole production staff, my lovely assistant and co-host Kayla, and of course Rattlesnake One, OG Criminal, LBT, Sandman, all the people that make up the channel, CB Radio Drama Free, home of the ROC Rebel Outlaw Crew. This has been a Rebel Outlaw Crew production on the Zello Radio Network. Thank you, and good night. See you again next week, everybody.